Hello friends, welcome back, and today we will be doing another video. It's a little bit late, these guys came out yesterday, but they are a couple costumes, and as costumes go, they are kind of tame. I'll explain what I mean by that, but we should still go over them because people are going to have questions, and it will be new characters for some, so let's go ahead and get started. The first one up is going to be Regin, or however you want to pronounce this. The Untold II characters were still, in my opinion, fairly recent characters. I don't think they necessarily needed to have costumes out yet, but it's fine. This is what we're given, so let's get into it. Will these characters be interesting and worth pulling for and all that fun stuff? Let's take a look. Now, obviously, you can see that the CP will be updated to as large as possible right now, which is around the 1630 range. They did not, however, change the classes on these costumes. This might be a first. I think classes have always changed on costumes for the most part, and it's kind of weird to see that they stuck with the same class, but so be it. So we do have the Rogue class here. A reminder of what we have here. They get the Molten Core as their family bonus. And down here, it is going to remind us what Molten Core does. And it says the Molten Core activates each time the character casts their special. All enemies receive Corrosive Burn over 3 turns. Depends on how much the Molten Core is charged. It says it deals up to 545 burn damage per turn and lowers the defense by 13%. So obviously, like, it's still a pretty good dot. 500 a turn hurts. It adds up quickly, so don't underestimate that. They also changed up the other passive here. Instead of resist burn, they now have empowered resist burn. And this is going to increase the amount of boosted health they get up to 600 now. And it also is going to give them 10% mana each time they resist. So they did double the amount of mana gained, I believe. That's probably the biggest buff right there, is that that's going to add up very quickly for these guys in boosting their mana, which will make them cast their specials quicker. Like, that's a pretty strong increase. The additional boosted health of, like, I think it's probably 150 more. Yeah, it's whatever, but the mana is significant of an increase. Over here in Aether Power, we have Element Immunity. This is still one of my favorite Aether Powers out there, so nothing for the first 6 turns are going to land on this person, so you can't really control them or stop them or give them dots or any of that. It just generally increases survivability and functionality of the character for the first 6 turns of the fight. Operating at fast speed, we are going to have Cursed Plan. It's going to dispel buffs from the target and nearby enemies. Worth noting, that is a priority dispel, which is significant. It's definitely something you want in your roster. Attack the target and nearby enemies with Firestorm Strike, dealing up to 2220 damage. Okay, and deals 40% more damage if the target is nature. I oftentimes forget about that, but these guys do pick on nature, so just remember that. And it says this special skill can never miss its targets. Also very helpful. The target and nearby enemies are immune to new status effect buffs for 3 turns. Okay, so let's break it down. If you're familiar with the original character, this is basically the exact same thing with a new stat update. So we don't have to go too deep into this, but things to like about this character. Priority Dispel. Fast counter to buffs going up. So things like Gurik. I understand he's not nearly as powerful now that he can be dispelled, but if she gets this off, she can put up a debuff that will stop them from getting the Slime Resurrect or counterattack or any number of annoying buffs. You can prevent that by getting this fast character off before they try to get their buffs up. So I do appreciate that as well. Very reasonable amount of damage at 2,220. Remember, though, that this does work on the Firestorm Strike mechanic. So in reality, you're probably doing closer to the base damage of 1,110 than you are the 2,220. Unless you're talking about doing like events and stuff like that. Like if you're clearing through event levels, they'll be doing their max damage, and that's super nice. But if you're doing raids and wars, etc., just don't expect that max damage potential. Expect it to be more around, like, 1,100 to like maybe 1,400 if you max out the attack stat on this character. So that in mind, it's still a very reasonable hit. Fast speed. We got your priority dispel. You got your stopping them from buffing. Your empowered fire resist. All in all, this character is great. Like, I'm gonna give this character, because of the new stat updates and everything going on right now, I'm gonna give this character a 9. Because I think it does everything you need it to do. And that sounds a little bit higher than I normally give, but like, I don't see a real negative downside to this character operating at fast, hitting 3, priority dispel, the immunity to debuffs for the first 6 turns. Everything about this package is just useful and powerful. So 9 it is for this one. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick video for our other one, but that is separate. So if you are interested in that, go ahead and take a look. And if you like what I do, at the bottom right, there's a little icon for my channel. You can click that, subscribe, and then you don't have to keep searching for me every day. All right, everyone, we'll catch you next time.